Hi everyone, welcome to Pawpaw's Workshop. Today is part 2 of my storage cabinet build. And remember, in part 1, I showed you how to build this cabinet. In part 2, I'm showing you all other stuff that I'm putting in this cabinet, and I still have room left over. So let me show you what I did. Let's get started. I was literally ready to nail in the first shelf, and I thought, everything changes in my shop, and this would be no different. So I got a piece of pegboard and set it up so that I could put adjustable shelves into the cabinet. And this is the first shelf, and I just found some dowel rods that would slip into my holes, and that takes care of the first shelf. I continued this process with the pegboard so that I could put in a total of 3 adjustable shelves. So I would just take the pegboard, clamp it to the side of the cabinet, and then drill the holes where I wanted it to be. And I have a little mark there so you can see where I wanted the shelf. And then once the holes were drilled, slip in the pegs. Granted, had I thought about this prior to assembling the cabinet, I would have put these holes in at that time. It would have been a whole lot easier. But here again, this is one of the things about my shop. I'm constantly changing, and this idea was literally at the last minute before I nailed in the shelves. This is yet again a prime example of how I design, because I design as I go, and sometimes it makes it a little bit difficult. And I know a number of you have asked for plans. No, I don't have plans, and this is one of the reasons why. I literally make up these designs as I go along, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And sometimes I just have to make a correction with a new part. Now this cabinet has the purpose of storing all of my pen making tools and all of my lathe wood turning tools. And here I'm going ahead and starting to put everything in. And I want to use the rare earth magnets to be able to act as the door closers. So I just drilled the appropriate hole, and I used the hot glue to be able to secure them in place. And I just, you do this as an experiment. Ordinarily, I would use epoxy, but I wanted to try and see how the hot glue would work. I think it's going to do okay. At least so far, it's done well. Now, with just a little dab of the hot glues that I put into the hole, then it was just a matter of slipping in the rare earth magnet and making sure that it was flush. And then it's all done. It's just that simple. One of the little tricks that I use to make sure that I line the magnets correctly is I put a little red dot on it, and that way I make sure that I put it in correctly. And now to test it, that works good. That'll do just fine to hold it in place and hold the door closed. We'll check this one. Same thing. That will hold it good. Now what I'm doing, I want to be able to have 5 of the lathe tools in here, and I want to start 1.25 inches from the end on each of them, and then that will be 1.25 inches from here to there, 1.25 inches from there to this point. Then I want to divide this in half, so half of 11 is 5.5, and half of 3/16 is a 1/16.5, or actually 3/32, so right there. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and use my square and draw the lines. And that gives me 3. And all I have to do now is divide this space in half, and I will have it done. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4.25, so that would be 2 1/8 right there, and then this should be the same thing. Okay, 2 1/8. Now I'm going to take this over to the drill press and I'm going to drill the holes that'll support the handles. Now I'm drilling these holes at a depth just deep enough to be able to support the handles on the wood turning tools. And I'm going to be making 4 of these blocks with the holes drilled in them to support all of the lathe tools that I have. So this is going to sit right in here, and then this is going to just be able to drop in, and that will hold the handle in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just use a couple of nails. Now these are 1¼ inch nails, but the reason I'm doing that is because everything changes in this shop, and you never know. I may decide to change my mind and store different items. So 2 little nails is all that's going to be needed to be able to hold that in place. Now to support the top of the lathe turning tools, I cut a block on a 5-degree angle. I drilled holes in it to be able to support the magnets, and the magnets will actually hold the tools in position so they will not fall out as the door is opened and closed on the cabinet. And now that I had all the magnets in, it was time to go ahead and attach them to the door. I aligned this so that the magnets would be just at the top of the wood part of the tool and still be able to support the wood turning tools itself. And then again, I just nailed it in. So now as you open up the door of the cabinet, you see all of the wood turning tools. This will give me easy access to the tools when I'm working on the lathe. Now unfortunately I didn't have any additional rare earth magnets, so I used the same magnets that I used to hold the tools in place. And this was a 3/4 inch diameter magnet that I picked up at the big box store. So I just took the drill, put in the 3/4 inch bit, drilled my holes into position, and then with the hot glue gun, I just put a little glue on the magnets and then slipped it into the hole. And that worked real well. And I'm going to try to see if the hot glue will hold sufficiently. Otherwise, I'll have to change it out and I'll use the epoxy. You know, while the glue is drying, I want to take just a moment on a personal note and thank everyone for their support. This channel has grown beyond my wildest dreams in the last 1.5 years, but I need your help. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. Because currently with the changes in YouTube and how the algorithms are written and monitored, I've got about 80% people looking at the videos and not subscribing. So the second thing that I need help with is for you, because this channel is all about you, leave me a comment. What would you like to see? What topics am I not covering that you would like to see to be able to learn about, to watch, and to be able to grow in your own personal lives? So again, I want to thank everybody for their support, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to continue to grow and provide all types of videos for you to be able to enjoy. Now let's get back to the show. I think the glue is dry. Now I'm taking just a scrap piece of plywood, taking the tools that I want to be able to put into this holder, and just doing a quick layout. And then the next thing I want to do is take my handy specialized bottle top to be able to do the round over and just ease the edge of the holder so I don't catch my hand on it when I'm reaching in to grab the tool. Okay, after the holes are drilled, just a quick test. Chuck key fits in perfectly. That's going to work fine. And I'll put in the other 2 parts. That's going to work well. Now to the sander to round over the edges. Okay, the first thing I want to do, let's go ahead and open up the door. And in this first section, I have all of my lathe turning tools. And what's nice about this is easy access. So when I'm working on the lathe, I can literally grab the appropriate tool that I want and be able to use it and then be able to put it back. It's actually going to help eliminate the magnetic strips that I had down below. This was the magnetic strip that I had before, where when I would be turning I would just slip the tool and go on to the next one. This will be eliminated and it'll come off the wall. I like this a whole lot better. This is great. Now in the next section, let me open that up for you. Now in this next section, on the back of it, where I have the adjustable shelves, I have all of my pin turning equipment in here. I have my resins and my casting materials in here, and I also have all the polishing things that I need. So everything's here, easy to be able to get to the lathe when I'm doing the turning. The other thing here, I have the chucks. Now each of my lathes have the different size. So I went ahead and put these on each side. This is the MT1 and the MT2. So I didn't want to be able to just grab the wrong one. So my MT2 is on the left because that corresponds with the lathe that I have. And then this chuck will go on the other side. And of course, I've got the chuck key next to it. Now, one of the things I'm working on right now is a video for the beginner series on using the speed square and a framing square. And I want to give you a sneak peek in one of the tips that I'm going to be giving you. To find the center of a dowel rod or any circle oftentimes is a pretty difficult task. But if you take the framing square and a speed square and just be able to put them together so that this point right here creates a 45-degree line, and then all you have to do is be able to put your circle right in there against that point and mark it with a pencil, rotate it, mark it again. If you want to do this a couple more times, you don't have to, but what that does, it marks the exact center for you. So this is just one of the little tips that I'm going to give using the speed square and the framing square. You don't want to miss that beginner series video. Now what I did is use the dowel rods cut to hold the faceplate, and I also used the magnets to hold in the wrenches, and then a couple of screws to hold the chuck wrench. The nice thing about this cabinet, I have been able to gather up my tools and my pin turning supplies from all over the shop and be able to put it into one location. Many of these tools actually remained in their original box and was stuck on a shelf, and I only pulled them out when I was doing the turning. This way they're all here with easy access that I can use them, and it's going to be so much nicer. Now one of the things that I said I was going to do is, and I've answered quite a few emails, is actually give you the dimensions of this cabinet, because unfortunately I don't have plans. As you can see, when I went through building this, a lot of this I made up as I went along. But this cabinet is 24 inches wide. It is 30 inches tall. This part against the back wall and this middle section are both 5 inches. So this is a 5-inch and this is 5 inches. Now what I would suggest doing is making this the size that you need it for the tools that you want to put in there. This size was specifically to hold those two tools that I have for the pin turning supplies. This last section right here is 3 inches. Again, I needed this depth to be able to support the lathe turning tools. But with this information, with the width, the height, and the depth, you should be able to duplicate this. Now I definitely plan on making some additional cabinets like this for my shop because I have found it to be so efficient. I literally was able to clear off one whole cabinet, 3 different shelves. I've eliminated 2 of the pegboards that I had on the walls, and I've just begun because I want that wall space back. And this is the best way I know to be able to get it. And for a small shop, you can't beat this, where you have limited space to begin with, this is ideal. So I hope you consider making one of these cabinets for yourselves. Hi everyone, thank you for watching my video today. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified on the different videos that I upload. Also check out the videos over here to be able to stay up to date on the happenings in my shop. So again, thank you for watching my videos.